Hey, True Believers England team here. I was relaxing with Gail. We're just laying down watching some TV. Basically, I'm bouncing from YouTube channel to YouTube channel. And I come across this guy. Occasionally, I watch his videos. It's called The Liberal Hive Mind, much bigger than I am. This is me saying I occasionally watch is in no way, shape, or form insult or anything like that. It's just sometimes I'm shared his videos and it's like, oh, okay, that looks interesting. Let me watch this. And this one was on the whole to-do that's going on with Gary and the Blackpills. Still one of the greatest unused band names ever. I do believe this. And I started watching it. You know, I've got my things with Gary in the Blackpills. You know, I think very often it seems like they're audience captured, that they kind of go in the same direction. Like I use the analogy like a broken shopping cart. They always go in the same direction no matter what. So yeah, I've got my own problems, but in general, we agree on a lot of stuff. This whole culture war, I was one of the original fighters. I've actually been recently asked, don't do this kind of thing anymore. Don't do this kind of thing. Stay positive. Do the comic books, do the covers, do the thing is I also occasionally stop by and I check out the comments, excuse me, with these broken glasses of mine. But I check out the comments of these channels. And a lot of the people who are asking me not to do this kind of content, you know, you're watching Gary, you're watching Wes, you're watching all the other people talking about the culture war. I want a piece of that pie, you know. But my problem is I can't talk about the same thing over and over and over again. I'm just bored with it. I get bored with it. You know, let's move on. We already know Star Wars sucks. To me, Star Wars is pretty much a dead entity. There's no need to talk about Acolyte Season 2 or whatever the next, what is it? It's Goonies with Star Wars coming up next. Why talk about it? We know it's, to me, it looks like the best thing since Force Awakens. No, Rogue Squadron. But think about all the shit between this and Rogue Squadron. You know, I'm not giving that high praise. So I'm not really a huge fan of where they went, because I think they've kind of become, you know, I wouldn't go so far as say party clowns like Rich is over on his channel. It's just that very predictable. I guess that's the kindest way to put it. So I do have my own problems with it, and I understand that people are going after them recently. So I was interested because I forget who did it, but somebody brought it up on my channel last night. Did you hear about, you know, we're doing covers. Hello to Dalton. How you doing? Come on in. And we were doing cover ratings, which, you know, these are the kind of videos I miss, just talking and chatting. And I wanted to know, okay, what's going on? Because I do want to get more into these kind of, even if I do them in the afternoon, something where we're talking about maybe just comic books themselves or what's going on behind the scenes. And so I sit down and watch this guy's Liberal Hive Mind, and lo and behold, yeah. Oh, hello to Man of Action. Damn the torpedoes. Don't give up the ship. Exactly. And I like Stug. We will win this fight. Weird thing. When we started Comicsgate, I wanted to win the culture war. It seemed like everybody else wanted to make money. I wanted to make money too. Do not get me wrong. I ended every video with this.
But you wanted to make money as you were winning the culture war.
But I thought
as a means to win the culture war.
My whole thing was, in order to win, we have to point out the fact that they're the crazy ones. They're the nuts. Because they're the ones that are calling for less free speech. They're the ones that are now saying that, you know, men can be women. We can't. We can live like women. And by God, have fun. You know, you're an adult. Do what you want to do. Live your life the way you want it. But don't ask me to be a part of it. Don't ask me to lie for you. And definitely don't step into my daughter's spaces. You know, that's where I, you know, when you try to actually force women out of their own spaces, that's where I have a problem. So to get to this, and by the way, Dalton, I don't really think you know what's going on. So Dalton's jumping into this, into the pool feet first.
Yeah, he sends me a message like half an hour ago going, "We have stuff to talk about, let's stream." And I'm like, okay, I guess that's a
Yeah.
thing now.
So it's kind of funny to me because apparently there's this thing called rewriting Ripley, and I hope Liberal Hive Mind doesn't community strike me, but
sure this individual has a YouTube presence or not, but we've got Rewriting Ripley Pod. I guess they run a podcast. If we go to their website, it says Rewriting Ripley, a podcast on feminism and fandom in the age of social media.
Okay, I very want to. I'm going to be doing this as what do they call them, an EFAP?
Yes.
I'm going to do this very much in an EFAP style because I do want to point out it's rewriting Ripley, which gives you the illusion that this is going to be about Star Wars. Ripley, of course, I am assuming. I mean, isn't that her name? Or is it maybe, or is it
Daisy Ridley is the one you're thinking of, and no.
Sci-fi. I'm thinking Daisy Ridley's character.
Yeah, but
okay, so I got it wrong. All right, but point being, is it? Are they talking about Alien? Because otherwise, what they're saying
that's
right
where the
here,
title's from. But I'm actually more familiar with these guys than I think even you are, because they're the ones who made the alt-right Star Wars article in about 2019. And over on the podcast The Storm that I share with Brainstormer, we devoted like one segment per news live stream to that article, I think like 20 times, because it was such a massive dissertation of bullshit that we had to go through.
Yeah, you guys, if you, I know some of you, Man of Action, Maranui, I don't know how you've been watching this channel. I know you're not in the live streams all the time. But if you've noticed, I've actually been getting worse at this. My mind doesn't connect things as well. I don't know if it's an old age thing or what's going on. So yes, I was thinking Daisy Ridley and Ellen Ripley and getting them mixed up. But yes, I think you guys are right. This is Ellen Ripley, and I apologize. I will try to be a little bit more sharper. Yeah, I'm glad you know a little bit more about them. But this, if it's rewriting Ripley, if it's rewriting Ellen Ripley, then it truly is an agenda. It truly is. It's not a love.
It's a feminist rag.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You're not a fan if you've got an agenda to change things. We have seen this quite a few times. Like people got mad with Deadpool. I don't know if you guys remembered, he did the dance to NSYNC, bye. And they said, well, what's you accept this, but you don't do this. It's because of feminism or you're sexist. Yeah. No, that the Acolyte, which is what really started all this shit going after Nerdrotic, those were not created in the same way Deadpool and Wolverine was. Deadpool and Wolverine was a love letter to fandom for all of the Fox properties. They wrote a love letter. They made sure that they showed respect to the characters that, though a lot of people maligned, and some with good reason, they knew that there were fans to them. Let's give them a good send-off. Wolverine and Deadpool respected the characters, and they respected, most importantly, the fans. Both.
Here's the main difference.
Let me finish, and then I'll give it to you. Both the She-Hulk and the Acolytes, by the showrunners' admissions, were created out of spite towards the fans, and in all honesty, towards the character. That part they didn't much say, but think about the way they talk. The Acolyte talked about they were going to anger certain members of the fandom. This fandom, by the way, has bought billions of dollars worth of merchandise, kept movies alive for, what is it now, 50 years? I'm 54. Star Wars was what, 76? So that's 6 years younger. So 48 years, kids. 48 years.
I thought kept this Star Wars was 78.
Angry at
I
us?
could be wrong, but I could have sworn Star Wars was 78.
No. Well, okay. So Star Wars had an interesting release. They did it kind of roadshow style, and then it had its big release. So yes, okay. 76, 78. it might have been 77 when they started the road show. But you're right. The official was 78. I'm letting my actual movie knowledge get in my way of but point being is they made the Acolyte in spite, to spite, and then the entire press junket was all about how they were going to make some fans mad. They made this out of anger. This wasn't made out of love for the characters or love for the story. It was made out of hatred for us. Well, and that's the big difference. Go on ahead. I'm sorry I took up all the time.
And here's the short version of that, the point that puts a finer point on it. There are two different approaches to art, as far as I can tell. One approach is what I call the genuine fandom approach, but they usually refer to as toxic fandom, which is the art itself takes precedence over whatever extraneous bullshit you want to tack onto it from outside of the universe. The in-universe logic mattering, and so on. The other approach, which is the art school brat or art school twat approach that is all but pervasive in academia now, says that art is only valuable as a means to an end, and if you care about stuff like in-universe logic, well-rounded characterization, or consistent and enjoyable world building, then you are stupid, silly, and naive for caring about those things.
Yeah.
Because art must be a means to an end, or something is wrong, apparently.
Let me move on a little bit here.
Seem to be posting these videos independently. I don't think it's even uploaded on YouTube. But anyways, we got this podcast and they've been going like on a freaking tirade for a while here, basically since March 2021, talking about the alt-right radicalization in the Star Wars fandom. They posted this video.
Oh, 2021, not 2019, excuse me. I got the date wrong there.
Okay. Yeah, well, I don't know when this was made, but I do apologize. And once again, liberal hive mind, I'm going to play this straight across. He played their video. I'm going to play his videos. I will stop at a certain point because Gail went, hey.
Actually trying to find a few rabbit holes that are very powerful and try to find which rabbit hole is the closest to your interest.
For me, once I started diving hard into some of these people's YouTube videos, you kind of get hooked.
Maybe they'll stop pushing this feminist agenda that has driven Star Wars into the ground.
We are going to talk more about Disney and their feminist agenda.
She has some weird resentment towards the male fans of this franchise.
All-conquering female figure now is occluding this great myth of the hero.
Rey had randomly been amazing at everything. She was the ultimate Mary Sue.
We didn't acknowledge the presence of the ultimate Mary Sue.
Daisy Ridley, she got harassed, but she did something about gun control. So,
okay, my wife goes, "Is that you?" I was like, "What? Wait, what?" I missed the fact that they actually. Yeah, I missed the fact that they actually do. You can see it under the stop and all that kind of stuff. That they actually do credit the channel. Thank you for including me, and thank you for including me, Hive Mind. But the thing is, I don't know if you heard it there, but the way they play it, it's like it's in the same video and it's in the same. This was two different videos. This was, and by the way, they're trying to make it sound like, oh, I'm this big alt-right, blah blah blah. I am right wing. I am absolutely conservative, and I will be voting for Donald Trump for the third time. And I will be watching, and I will notice when they cheat the same way I did the last time. But what's
especially if they come right out and say it because they want a pat on the head for it.
Yeah, we've got a community strike, by the way, because Dalton and I did a video on a Time magazine article where they admitted it, where they flat out admitted it. And we got
they literally framed it as a good thing, and they wanted credit for it and kudos and stuff.
Yeah, about the big lie, by the way. And we got a community strike, not a community flag or anything like this. This is one of those, you do it again, you're out kind of things. The thing is this video that they're tying me to the big black, and you got so many other freaking videos that would do it better, kids. Seriously.
Young Rippa, Perch.
Gary fucking showed up on my, he was a guest on my show before he blew up. There's so many things tying me to them, and they picked the one freaking video where I'm saying, guys, stop freaking harassing, what's her name? Rose Tico, the actress.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran, thank you. Lovely lady. And let me tell you something. I don't give a how much you hate modern Star Wars. I don't give a. If you tell me, I don't care what your sex is or anything. If you tell me George Lucas looks at you and says, I want you to play Rose Tico, you would say, yes. I don't care. Rose Marie Tran didn't deserve the freaking harassment she got. Any actress, any actor would have taken that role because it was in Star Wars. And that's before Last Jedi.
Yeah, before all of the wheels fell off the wagon,
exactly.
So to speak.
So no, I did not buy into the fact that Rose needed to be harassed. I did say something. I did say, and they're going to remind you that she wasn't forced off. She chose off. Look, I've been canceled. I've been struck. I have a community strike on this channel too, which it might be one of the reasons why I'm shadow banned now, because I got masked and flagged.
Yeah, you got unpersoned.
Yeah. I didn't run. Sorry, gang. I did not run. I'm not going to. I will not. It's just not something it's in me. So I do believe that they have a choice. Now, granted, yeah, sometimes you might want to take a step back. But it amazes me that this guy's bad video that they chose to put me in came from "Don't Harass Kelly Marie Tran." It's one of the bigger videos on this channel. Let's see. You do it once in a while, but they do it all the time. They make the female characters into male characters while at the same time making all the male feminine. Here's the thing. They don't make any female character strong these days. Well, I can't say any. I mean, there's always an exception to every rule. But the thing is, you don't make a strong woman by making weak men, and that's what they've been doing. They haven't really been making strong women. They've been making the men weak.
Well, and they're not even female characters in specific. They're ideologically feminist characters. Period.
Yeah, and that's
yeah. On the subject of the Rose Tico Kelly Marie Tran thing, I just want to point out that while yes, she did get genuine like shit stirrers doing evil trolling things and so forth, there was also a lot of genuine, straightforward criticism that got lumped the hell in with the harassment because she didn't like it.
I agree. I remember when I put that video out, by the way, I got big attacks because I criticized people for going after Kelly Marie. And I can only imagine that if I'm getting attacked for saying don't do it, she was getting some shit. Oh, no, they didn't just throw Bishop Robert Barron in there. He is actually pretty even-handed, though he knows what is going on. I don't think they cared, Rhaegar. I think they just wanted to get a quote. You know? Daisy Ridley
well,
really...
You're the ideological enemy, so obviously they don't care if they demonize you. They consider you demons anyway. And I guess I should say they consider us demons anyway, because I'm right in there alongside you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's all by, what do you call it when you're hanging around somebody?
Association.
Proximity. Yeah, association. Let's see, outside of Star Wars, Daisy Ridley is not known for... She's had bomb after bomb after bomb or very small movie. Like she was in The Murder on the Orient Express. Everybody loved that, but she was it was a supporting player. And then she was in that bad movie where men's thoughts were heard. And she, you know, it's either small stuff or no stuff, right? Oh, look, a reasonable person made a claim on something in culture. They must be down with the David Dukes as left. That's exactly how they treated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me go down a little bit. a lot of hate towards Rose was not directed towards her, it was towards the writers. Yeah, but once again, let me tell you, in a disguise, I got a lot of. I'm telling you, she must have had something. Strong and then overpowered are two completely different things. She was a tech. She would have been great taking over the Falcon and going on some adventures. A lot more believable.
But that would require caring about in-universe logic, and as I just went over recently, they don't care about in-universe logic, and they think you're stupid for caring about in-universe logic. They see art as a weapon only.
Let's move on here.
Last week, author and writer Chuck Wendig was fired.
James Gunn fired from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I remember this. Oh, wait, hold on.
Volume 3.
Okay, so the Chuck Wendig went on a freaking rant at that time. So this is an old video.
Yeah.
Chuck Wendig went on an amazing rant at one time. And of course, James Gunn made some off-color jokes. The thing that worried me is James Gunn made some off-color jokes in the same vein that I would make an off-color joke. You know, I talk about I talk about the shit I do under the bridge all the time. He made a joke that was like, it was like a sexual joke, and it was like, bring the kids, haha. I made a similar joke, and it was just trying to be the grossest guy on the street, you know. My sense of humor, I have to tamper down here. I will get shut down easily. Strong, let's see, the actors all just take heat because they're the ones in front. Yeah, it's the soap opera effect. People think they are the characters. And mind
you,
of people that are actually extreme are used to paint that is what destroyed what became Comicsgate. You had Richard, you had Philip, you had Doug, myself. We were the 4 original. And what by that I mean we were the 4 bigger YouTubers talking about this, and a lot of the people who were in the comic book and geek community who was about the culture war and everything were attached to one of our channels or another, and it all came together. I was the one who pointed it out that we were all doing the same kind of videos, you know, let's you know, and that's what got everybody together. And then Richard took the fuck off. I mean, he just whatever
into the stratosphere.
Yeah, whatever gas we were using was no freaking.
He had the nitrous.
Yeah, he had the jet fuel. It was something, and he just became the big guy. And after a while, Doug, Phil, and I were being discovered through Diversity in Comics, or your boy Zach, as he's known now.
Turnabout is fair play.
But yeah, we would. I don't know why I got on this rant. Excuse me. I started off listening to Richard. Boy, times have changed his radar. Will you make a video talking about Grace Randolph saying Beetlejuice 2 is just about a guy preying on women and it fits him? She's full of shit. Yes, I will. You know what? I want to talk about Beetlejuice. I saw it. It was fun. It was funny. My wife liked it.
I have yet to see it.
My wife has given the same review. You've heard your mom. You can back me up on this. Elizabeth's here. She can back me up. This is my wife's review for damn near every movie. It's all right. Wrong or right. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's it. It's all right. What'd you think about this? It's all right. I've only heard her say, oh, that was good, to maybe 2 or 3 movies tops. Beetlejuice was one of them. The other one I remember was Shadows of the Vampire, starring oh shit, he's in Beetlejuice. It was a firefight. Damn, what is it? William Dafoe. He did a vampire movie a while back. It was like they were filming Dracula, you know, Nosferatu, and they just actually.
You sure you're not thinking of What We Do in the Shadows?
No. This is called Shadows of the Vampire. If you haven't seen it, that is your movie. You'll love this. But yeah, so I would love to talk about how Grace. Besides, I'll say it any day. Grace Randolph is full of shit. How can you even watch a video with her with that freaking voice? She sounds like I don't know. She's it's just a weird freaking voice. Reminds me. I don't know if you guys saw a movie called The Man with Two Brains with Steve Martin. At the end, there was a hooker, and she's like, he's trying to find a body to put the brain in, and he comes across this hooker, and he's like, "Can I see the when can I see the rest of you?" And she opens her coat, and she's naked, and he goes, "Oh, mama," and he says, "Oh, thank you." It's the same kind of. How can you watch her? Seriously.
I can tolerate her, but whenever she gets onto anything that goes against her ideological biases, yeah, she's insufferable. And she doesn't even realize the ideological biases she has half the freaking time.
All right, let's continue with the video.
This is awesome.
Documented history of dozens of anti-white tweets.
They're claiming that this was some sort of anti-white genocide.
I'm Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and you're watching Ethan Van Sciver.
Brings me to Rose. Don't even get me started.
Didn't even have the decency to fucking die.
She better die in the coma because she is a dumbass.
Okay, so they're putting him as the bad guy here, but he's actually reading a comment.
Kelly Marie Tran being chased off. Or she wasn't chased off. She chose.
There you go. That's my big evil contribution to this whole game here. She wasn't chased off. She chose. And that's true. I'll say that to anybody. You know? Oh, well, I'll say about one of ours. Phil Cummings. Phil Cummings would jump into an argument, and he seemed like a badass that would take on all comers. Gets on with Ethan Van Sciver. Where is he? I mean, he would have a better excuse saying, "Yeah, I'm too busy to get into that bullshit," or anything like that. Okay, fine.
I think he got deployed again, didn't he? I thought he got
hope so.
deployed again.
I hope so. I remember when he came on here, and I thought, okay, well, he's getting back into things, and then he just went freaking nuts on everybody. It was freaking weird. But he used to put me down. I told him, "I'll be here long after you." Guess what? I remember when EVS did the art in Jordan Peters' book, Times Have Changed. Yeah, that was also, they were showing him cut off the head of the Kelly Tran dolls. You notice how they lost the plot, so now they're trying to rewrite history. Be careful of that. Of course, of course. Grace looks like Franken Hooker. Let's see. Captain Cummings is preaching. Well, that's nice. There you go. I hope he found his calling. The thing is, when someone agrees with someone else on a particular topic, does not mean that they agree with. That is true. One of the best things. Go ahead. Sorry.
It doesn't even necessarily mean they agree for the same reasons. You can get the same endpoint with a lot of different rationales. In fact, that's often what we talk about on this channel when we do these kind of discussion streams, is how we get from point A to point B being so different from each other usually.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. You are, as we've said a couple of times, you're a Bernie bro liberal.
That is correct.
You are not, however, dumb enough to vote for Kamala, right?
There's not even a person there to vote for, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Kamala has been persona non grata to me ever since Tulsi Gabbard came along and freaking scalped her publicly at debate. Okay.
Well, I hope you're gonna go vote for the Orange Man. Orange Man good in this situation. But
yeah, honestly, if I vote at all this time around, I am probably going to vote for the Orange Man, because say what you will about Trump, but half the shit they say about him is false, and B, he's a good wrecking ball against the establishment, and I hate the establishment of both parties way more than I dislike Trump. So there.
Yeah, but I will point out, and this is a gotcha thing. You and I have been friends forever and a day. I've known you've been a Bernie bro, and I've never been quiet about my political stances.
No, and I don't care. Like, it's fine.
Exactly.
We can be good friends and have disagreements on policy issues. It's whatever.
But did you, or would you have even thought about voting for Trump the first two times? I would assume you were too young.
After Bernie dropped in 2016, and we were left with the mad damn Clinton, I would have voted for him then, but I was too young, I think, the first time. And again, I would have preferred him to Biden, but I didn't end up voting in 2020. So it's not like I have anything particular against Trump. If it's an establishment Democrat versus a populist Republican, I will go with the populist Republican because I am a populist and a small L libertarian on most issues. So it's not.
Yeah,
as long as whoever I'm voting for is against the establishment and will screw up the establishment's way of doing things and is more libertarian minded, I don't care. I would go with whoever is the best candidate. It doesn't
the black pills of the culture wars are no fun. Undead Quinn, I would agree with you on that. Like I said, I do have my problem with Gary and Kennel, and I've never really glommed onto Kennel very much anyway. But I remember, the funny thing is, I remember what's his name? Geeks and Gamers guy has no facial features. Jeremy. Okay. I remember him bad-mouthing me because I did the debate with Ethan Van Sciver, and he was on Ethan's side at the time. So I wonder how I would be accepted. Well, I just said he had no facial features, so I don't think I would be accepted well. But yeah, I when I heard that they were kind of in a war with him for a little bit, I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, okay, where would I stand then with these guys? Because I remember watching one of their live streams, and so maybe it was the same video that we just watched and I forgot, but Nerdrotic Gary, who like I said has been on the show, where I have and I still do consider him a friend. He goes, "Hey, it's Englentine. What? From I Love Comics." That was the whole interaction. I was like, really? I've never freaking said 2 words to this guy. I kind of wonder how that would go, because I know now the whole thing is Ethan's going after Ripa, and
oh god,
oh my gosh, it's a huge freaking to do. I'm like, this is the weird thing, because I'm like so far out of this. It was strange to see.
Yeah, neither of us have a dog in this particular fight, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't mind fighting the culture war. I really don't. I don't mind. Let's talk about the bad things in comics versus, you know, what should be and so forth. And by me saying what should be, I'm not saying our politics. When that one comic came out, Erratic, I thought it was so far to the right, it was just filled with our politics, that the story was lost because it was trying to get the right-wing agenda out. That's not a good story. I don't care what side of the, I mean, am I still here, guys? Did he freeze or did I freeze is the big question. It's not their fault that Hollywood is doing diversity hires. And okay, thank you. I didn't know, because, you know, I've been dropping, so I don't know if Dalton froze or if I froze. I'll do this until he jumps back. You never, what was it? Eric pointed out, you never freeze in a good position. I think that was actually not bad. Yeah, but I've been dropping also, so I was worried about it. So wait a second. Okay, let's see. It's not their fault Hollywood is doing diversity hires and is barely literate people creating crappy stories. And if you say you're R or D, they expect you to agree with. Yeah, I think that's weird. It's so funny. Some of you guys go on and on about the so-called black pills, but these guys like things and talk about them in their streams. I think they would prefer liking the content they cover. You know, Rhaegar, you could be right, and you probably are. I don't know you to be a liar at all. The thing would be, though, it's kind of like that whole, I've talked about this too, the MCU or MCU. Very good slogan. It's full of shit, but it's a very good slogan. It'll sell t-shirts, and I'm sure it has. But the thing is, I don't buy it for a second that somebody who's a comic book fan like Gary doesn't want a She-Hulk movie. You know, doesn't want a Captain Marvel movie. Of course you do.
Properly done. Yeah.
Yeah, you want one properly done for sure. So it's not, you know, make Marvel male again, which is a t-shirt also I saw Gail, I saw Gary wear. It's make good female movies again. I guess that doesn't look good on a t-shirt, but it's more along the lines of what they're talking about.
Well, and unfortunately, it seems like at the start of things that was just rhetoric, but as things have gone on, they've gotten so punch drunk that they actually kind of ended up becoming the very strawmans they spent so many years trying to convince people they weren't. And it got to the point where there are 2 live streams over on Podcast of the Storm where I spent 4 hours going through Gary's review of Multiverse of Madness and just checking him on thing after thing after thing that he either didn't get right, wasn't paying attention to, or simply tried the most uncharitable way of looking at in that entire movie. And it wasn't like taste things, it was things that were objectively incorrect about his review. And I'm just like, how in the hell does a former comic fan get all of this stuff wrong? But he did.
Let me answer, Vincent. I don't know if Vincent might be a Harrison, therefore I just kind of insulted, and if that's the case. So why do you think you have to be dumb to vote for Harris? What is your different definition of dumb? In this case, I think that right now, if you're voting for Harris, that you are not voting for Harris. You're voting for the Democrats. It's one of those vote blue no matter who kind of situations. We have lived through Obama, and then we lived through 4 years of Trump, and we've lived through now 4 years of what we found out was Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama.
And a little bit of Joe Biden, probably.
Not from what we've heard so far. Joe Biden has been he's been the wind-up
Jill,
toy.
His wife, yeah.
Maybe Jill. We've been finding out by just more and more that he's had so little to do with his own presidency. It's ridiculous. The thing is the best years of prosperity were through Trump. We are now, they tell you that prices are down, that gas is low and all that kind of stuff, but it's still
But if you buy groceries, it's simply not the case.
The gas is still high. The groceries are still high. We are now facing 3 possible wars. We do have ships on the way to Iraq. We of course have the proxy war with the Ukraine. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, there seems to be a civil war boiling up at our border, not to mention, or over the border, not to mention the fact that now we've been invaded. And I thought it was going to be somebody else, but apparently it's the Venezuelans. They have taken ground. I don't care if it's an apartment building here or there. They've taken ground. I'm actually disappointed by the gangs in Chicago. Why are they not dead already? I'm not calling for it. No calling for violence. Please, I wish the Venezuelans would peacefully walk away. But we have. All of these things have happened. We have heard no policy from Kamala Harris.
None.
We've heard her talk for 16 minutes about anything of substance. Everything we've talked about, the best thing she said, by the way, was that she was going to take one of Trump's policies, which should have angered everybody who was vote blue no matter
for
who.
her, but yeah.
Because, well, we don't like Trump. Well, we love that policy of his. We've heard literally nothing of how she's going to, hold on, let me finish, of how she's going to solve any of this. She was never, more people, by the way, this election cycle has shot Trump than voted for Kamala Harris. That's just a fact. Nobody voted for her. I've heard, oh, well, we voted for her by making her, that was what my parents said. We voted for her by making her the vice president. That's not how it works. You don't vote for, go on ahead.
Here's the left-wing approach to this, because as everyone knows, and we're just recently reminded, I am definitely on the left. But even I know that Kamala Harris is a practical non-entity, because in 2020, she peaked, mind you, at 15% of the Democratic vote in polling during the primaries.
Yeah.
And that 15%, give or take some percentage points, dropped to 3% and some change after Tulsi Gabbard did literally nothing but spend 5 minutes going through Kamala's frankly abysmal record as a prosecutor, as a humanitarian, as a left-winger, as a whatever you care to name. So don't sit there and tell me that Kamala is now the most likable candidate we've ever had, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
because she sure as shit wasn't in 2020. And the only reason we're thinking that now is because kind of this like Kasich effect where if I don't know anything about a politician, I don't have any means with which to judge them. But I guarantee you, the second the September 10th debate happens and we actually get to look at Kamala the cackling cop in all her fucking abysmal establishmentarian glory, especially given that Trump has been using Tulsi Gabbard as a debate prep sparring partner, if he pulls even half of what Tulsi did in the 2020 primaries, Kamala is going to drop like a fucking stone out of a window, percentage-wise.
So, I was, and by the way, yes, I understand. I want to. Vincent is saying, just listening. I've known the politics here for a long, and I appreciate it, dude. And even if you are left, obviously Dalton's on the left as well, yeah. So I have no problem with that. By the way, I have, however, been dropped by my family. I have never known a conservative to choose the Conservative Party or the Republican Party over their family. Never before. I've lost friends who are Democrat. I would never drop. I consider them friends. The door's open. They want to come in, and I'm not hard up for friends. Frankly, I'm one of those grumpy old men. Aside from you guys, I only want to talk to my wife and my children. I'm one of those people. I don't give a fuck about that, but I do consider them friends. If they want to come back and hang out, I am cool as all get out to do that. I've only heard about the loving and tolerant Democrats by cutting off family members. It's amazing. But I just want to let you guys understand that when I talk about Democrats, I'm talking about politicians. Actually, if you listen to Trump, when he talks about the left, he talks about politicians too. When the left talks about Republicans, they're talking about everybody. They described everybody as deplorables, not just the politicians. Okay, let's get the question. Do anyone talk about Kamala is responsible for Maduro regime getting more power than Chavez ever could dream of having? Anyone blaming her for a bad job? No, you'll never hear anyone on the mainstream definitely talk about. I need to shave. I see I'm getting that Charlie Brown little wisp going on. All right. Harris wasn't, but I saw a thing recently where Kamala started talking like a deep. Oh my gosh, that was that was ridiculous. She has a bad Southern accent. Let's see. Yeah, many mainstream conservative commentators are talking about Democrats. That means politicians as well. Yeah. But yeah, just to let you understand, if you're a viewer of this show, I don't care. You know, I mean, I do care to the point where I hope you vote for Trump. You mentioned what happens if people don't like Trump. I don't care. You shouldn't care either. I don't want to sit down and have a beer with, well, actually I do, with Trump or something. Yeah, I think that actually would be a good conversation. But the point being is I don't need a president I like. I didn't particularly like Bush. You know, I definitely, I don't think I would have liked Bush Sr.
The world doesn't begin and end with politics is the main issue. No,
what I'm saying is I want somebody who has the right policy. I don't need somebody who I'm going to get along with or anything like that. It's not necessary. I need somebody who is going to be able to take care of the 3-4 wars. I think somebody mentioned South China Sea. I think we're going to need somebody who's going to take care of the illegal aliens. And yes, I'm saying illegal aliens. We tried illegal immigrants. It confused the Democrats. They think all immigrants are just immigrants now. Stop saying illegal immigrants. Definitely don't say undocumented workers. It's not about
kind of
that.
like a
They're
lot of them
illegal
also think that every criminal is Aladdin now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Kamala Harris actually said not all illegal immigrants are criminals. No, by definition, they are criminals. The law they broke were what was coming in without proper documentation. That doesn't make them bad. Like they did this one thing. I could tell you a couple of times in my youth, I've broken the law. You know, I would shoplift here or something like that. My first time, my mom called me. I was playing with these Captain America Marvel comic finger puppets. Ran out because she called me, and then realized I still had them on my hand. Could have said, need to return these, but nope. I had free toys. You know, I think it's 40 years. I think the statute of limitations is up. So I better not go to New York, because they'll erase that rule if they want to, so they could charge me for it. Let's see. I have also lost friends and family over this. Trump isn't my favorite, but he is and was good for our economy and country. Yeah.
Agreed.
Him, cousin wife of hers, Venezuelan descent, and she can't return to Venezuela because the regime is arresting gay people, but they still defense of that. Yeah, it's horrible. Well, they defend Iran. I mean, for freak's sake, you got people talking about what queers for Iran. Well, you're dumb as you know.
Yeah, the Palestine thing, and it's like, you guys are against like fundamentalist theocrats of literally every other kind. But if that fundamentalist theocrat is from the third world and is brown, all of a sudden they can do no wrong somehow.
Yeah, this really veered off of comics and comics.
It did.
We're into straight up politics and everything, but I'm okay. You guys talk. My figuring is we've got another 12 minutes or so. Then I'm going to want to bounce because I got to get ready for the next show. But I'll tell you what, I missed this. I love doing the covers. Do not get me wrong. I do think I need to pull back a little bit from them because, well, I do like to hang out with my wife, you know, and I do. I love my wife. Go figure.
A life to live, yeah.
I'm cursed in that way that I actually love my wife. We had a night off yesterday. She had a day off and we went out to the movies, and we don't have a lot of money. So I took her to dinner at Chipotle because I am like that. You know, we do that a lot though, because we don't have a lot of money. So we'll go, it's like 79-cent chicken wing night. And we will buy a plate of fries to share, and we'll each get 10, and that's our budget. But we were having a nice time, and I just wanted to keep it going. Even if we did just watch a movie for about half an hour before she zonked out, you know. And sometimes that's what it's about. She just wants, you know, she doesn't want to fall asleep in an empty bed, you know. I'm the same.
I think on some level we all want that. We want there to be somebody there who will be there through thick and thin and otherwise.
And that was kind of how it was last night. I put on a movie and we were talking, we were having fun, we were playing around with Pistachio. We baby the hell out of him. I am so I was so traumatized by the death of Twiddles that I spoiled the fuck out of our bird now. And we're just sitting playing with him.
So he's the stereotypical third child.
Oh, he most definitely is. I'll get him out and do you want a Fruit Loop? You want a Fruit Loop? And he actually goes like that and he starts looking around anytime I talk like that, because he knows I keep a box of Fruit Loops next to me, and I'll put one on the chest and he'll just go down on it. Yeah. It's fruit. Let's see. Let's see where are we? No, the law is blind. That's funny. Kamala said that she wanted to stop price gouging, but that means any cop. Yeah, the way she was describing it, but I think it's kind of funny because she said that in like that was the whole problem. It wasn't the fact that their economy was horrible.
It's not as if inflation is tied to anything in the real world. It's just people deciding to be greedy. Derp.
Hey, wait, Glinzer, is this true? Football is on Mondays and Thursdays? Serious? Because that's Gail's days off. If I could skip them on those days, that'll make Eric happy and LK happy and my wife happy. The first two being more important, and that's why I included Gail last. But yeah, what we could do is a recorded version, and you guys could leave your votes in the bottom. But let's see, or more accurately, the party isn't going to be crushed in the congressional elections. I dealt with many Muslims in the prison system. They absolutely do not like homosexuality, says Brian Stam. On the inside or outside? Are you a prison guard, or were you a prison guarded? What if he had just started talking rambling like Toucan's? I would freak out. I really would. Yes. Especially if he went, you really aren't good at that, are you? How do you have 2 kids? I would just lose it. Or yeah, retired lieutenant. All right. But I don't know what to say anymore. This got so off the rails. I'm just waiting for questions. By the way, but what's going on? Yes, I'm trying to think of anything I could talk about or anything, because we've got about 8 minutes here. You need some breaks from the ranking E. I notice you getting more stressed around them. Yeah, one slick. I think the problem comes from I actually do spend a few, unless it's like tonight. Tonight we're doing Space Family Robinson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Done. That's fine. But even still, I would hear, well, this scan wasn't as good. I found the best scan possible. You know, you might find and then it's like
technical limitations.
Yeah, then it's like, well, you should have gotten just the comic book.
And it's not like we're ever going to be sponsored by Marvel or DC either. So.
And then I get one of an original, a scan of an original comic book, and this is kind of murky. Okay, then I'll do the digital recoloring. Oh, this is horrible. It's a digital. So it's like, God damn it, can't you just rank the fucking cover?
Sprinting between 2 fires, yeah.
Especially when it's taken me, when it's those that are like we do a year or something. If we do a year, what I think of all the titles. And I will start like for 90s, I will start at 1990 and then go through until 1999 for Batman, for Detective Comics, for Legends of the Dark Knight, for, and then I'll go on to Superman and Action Comics and Man of Steel.
And then you got to narrow it down to which would be the most interesting to rate.
And then I go to Wonder Woman, so forth and so on, so on, so on. So I end up with 50 to 100 covers. Then I've got to go through those. Which one are cool? And then it's I can't do all iconic in one video, because we might do this topic again. Got to save some for later. And after all of that, to hear, yeah, but you should have, or they just
stop making me limbo under 2 different bars here.
Last night, the guys seemed confused with that stream. Figured you weren't in the mood due to football. No, it was actually just wanting to be with Gail. That was it. That was absolutely. I listened to some. I thought they did fine. I mean, I didn't listen to the whole thing because we were watching movies and TV and such like that. We were just chilling, playing with a bird. But I listened in, and I heard they said that like Gail wanted me throw my wife under the bus. That's funny. People are going to complain. It's part of the day. So dude, I've been on this channel for a long time, and I know don't read the comments, and a lot of times I don't, but occasionally when one gets stuck under that piece of popcorn right there, and instead of coming out, it digs a little deeper into gum. That
it also doesn't help that you've been a lifelong entertainer and people pleaser, so there's a part of you that actually does want to listen to everything.
Yeah, that's actually part of the problem. I thought of that myself the other day. I love making people happy, and it's like, if I listen to them, I can't. This is gonna happen. Yeah. Watch one sitcom or a hero show with my dad per day, and that's the same thing I love. We really like Daredevil. We were rewatching Moon Knight. She didn't see season 3 of Only Murders in the Building, and I'm kind of watching that with her because I want to get to season 4. I love that show. I should finish the quote. The issue is never the issue. The issue is the revolution, says Rhaegar.
Speaking of Marvel TV shows, I'm gonna soapbox about one of my current issues here with Gary and the Blackpills. Agatha all along, one, looks decent, at least, and two, at least has a few things that make it look interesting. But according to Gary and the Blackpills, it's the next She-Hulk already, even though they have not seen minute one of the damn.
Well, no, the trailer's been out, but even before the trailer was out, they, like I said, the one thing I called them out for was some magazine, I think it was Entertainment Weekly, maybe People, I don't know. They put out some images, and Gary put out a message that says, if you thought The Acolyte was bad. Now, that phrase alone means if you thought this was
you're
bad,
comparing it to The Acolyte. Yeah.
No, you're actually saying it's worse. And you didn't, if he said it by the trailer, okay, he's got a little evidence of it, but he said that by 3 images. Like, come on, Gary, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Your freaking broken shopping cart that just has to go in the same direction all the time.
Well, and here's the other thing. People are bitching and whining about, why did Agatha get her own show? And I'm like, because she was the only interesting part of WandaVision in retrospect. Catherine Hahn did an amazing performance as her. It's coming out around Halloween, which is the perfect time to release a witchy show. And at some point, they've got to do a Doctor Strange 3 and a Blade movie and hopefully some other stuff too.
Well,
so this makes perfect sense.
I'll tell you what, I'm kind of hacked off with the Marvel universes. They didn't keep up the Halloween, like last year they didn't have a Halloween special. They should have, because the Werewolf by Night
was freaking amazing.
Yeah, and I think it would have been great. Just let's make that a yearly thing, bring back, because you've got the Spirits of Vengeance and all those characters and the Dark Hole.
There's plenty of supernatural or mystical characters they could pull from, and please, for the love of God, may they pull from it, please.
Let's see, have I watched a British series called Midsummer Murders? I don't know. Gail watches that kind of stuff. I might have watched some while she was watching, but I never put it on. We will see if Agatha getting her own show was worth the gamble, given the other characters they could have used. We shall most definitely see when the views come in. I don't care about the characters they use. Once again, it's not the characters, it's the writers. And in all honesty,
I will say the Ballad of the Witch's Road song looked really cool when they performed that at, I think it was D23. And that song showed that somebody put some research work into, okay, we're making a witchy show. How do we make it like as witchy as possible?
Yeah.
So I'm at least cautiously optimistic about Agatha. That means I will be doubly angry if they do manage to screw it up. But it also means that because I am basically the target audience for this show, if they meet me halfway, I will gladly meet them the other halfway, and I will be defending it.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, MK, you asked about a movie. Somebody was saying it was bad. Oh my gosh, MK, if you're listening in, by all means, let me know what movie. Because when we were talking about the Kelly Tran and the Star Wars, The Hunt. Okay, because I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to answer cartoons and comics here. You asked, wasn't it the whole bunch of people talking about how The Hunt is anti-conservative, the movie, and how before it came out, a whole bunch of conservatives were complaining about it because of the trailer. It really looked like it's free, kill the conservative day in that movie. I was one of them. I was actually one of the people who did a video talking about how, this is
then when it came out, it actually made those characters.
I could have that movie on a loop. That movie is so freaking cool.
Betty Gilpin was amazing in that too.
She really was. That was a good movie, and I got to tell you, anytime Ethan Suplee is in a movie, I like it, so I'm okay with that too. I actually enjoyed that film quite a bit, and if you are y'all hearing that?
Yeah.
Even if you watch the movie all the way to the end, this isn't a pro-Republican, pro-Democrat. Actually, it's way not a pro-Democrat. But the woman, what's her name again? The lead,
Betty Gilpin.
She actually says, "You guys got the wrong girl." So you don't know who the hero's or what the hero's politics are. She's just mad because people are trying to kill her. and it's time to kill them.
Understandable.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Cartoons. People were bitching about Moon Knight during the release. Can't wait for season 2. Guys, team of the stories, A Man Without Love. It is a romance, Black Pillars. Okay, so I thought Moon Knight was okay. It was fine.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was really bad either.
I thought the first episode was brilliant. I loved it. But nothing following that first episode ever lived up to that first episode.
I liked a lot of the Egyptian mythology type stuff, but I'm an easy sell for mythology, so that's probably why.
Let's see. For a split second, Dalton looks like he's about to get a haircut. Then I realized that's his debate suit. Did you get a haircut, or is that just tucked under the hat?
I trimmed it a little bit because some of the longer strands were getting really dry and snapping off.
Let's see. Writing is definite paramount, but let's be fair. Marvel does not have good graces. That is true. They have, in the last, what was it, 5-4, whatever freaking phase it was. I think they used up a lot of goodwill. I didn't hate as much of their content as other people did. Like, I liked Loki. I didn't love Loki. As a matter of fact, I probably liked it more, and the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. I never liked Captain America and
Winter Soldier.
Falcon
and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Snowman. What If was absolutely horrible. But I loved the WandaVision. That was fantastic. I liked
one episode of WandaVision.
Yeah. I liked Shang-Chi, and I didn't hate Eternals the way other people hate the Eternals.
You can die on that hill alone, my brother.
Well, I will, because this is what I got to say about it. It is an incredibly flawed film that would have probably been a better 10-episode miniseries. There was just too many characters and too many things to introduce in a 2-hour span, and I think they wasted a lot of good characters. Now nobody cared. Nobody gives a shit about the comics, which is just par for the course. Nobody ever cared about them.
Yeah, but they could have made them as likable as the Guardians of the Galaxy if they had gone the Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok tonal route with Eternals, which they should have done because it was Jack Kirby's most out there gonzo sci-fi franchise. So why the hell didn't you use the template you used for all the gonzo out there sci-fi stuff? Why did you decide to make it into this pompous, like Oscar bait art film for some reason?
Yeah,
they basically made an anti-Jack Kirby movie, and it annoyed the hell out of me.
It was so bland compared to what Jack Kirby would have done. Now, and it's kind of funny because they did Marvel, not the Marvel Universe, the MCU, but Marvel hired an Oscar caliber director to do the Hulk. And you like it or not, at least that was a visually interesting movie.
Yeah, Ang Lee tried. Ang Lee definitely tried.
The Eternals, they just drabbed everything. It was, it would have been better.
Boringness personified as a movie, basically.
And who was hyped
the one thing I will say for Phase 4 is I will defend Till the Cows Come Home Multiverse of Madness. No, it wasn't perfect because Michael Waldron was basically all but a first-time writer, and there's no way he could have made that work, even if he was that good. But there was a lot more good about Multiverse of Madness than there was bad about Multiverse of Madness, and people slept on that movie for some reason, and I don't think that negative hate train is gonna last. I think when all is said and done, it's gonna become a cult classic movie.
I think the best way to save, I'm going to say this and then we're going to go because in 10 minutes I've got to start another show. You're invited to do this. It's Space Family Robinson tonight. Here's the way one way they can help to save the MCU. Feige needs to come out and say this: we are and have always been a movie studio, not a movie franchise. Our franchises are Captain America, they're Thor, now while we have kept everything together in one storyline, we're now branching out. So Shang-Chi, while it might cross over with other movies, is going to be its own story. Eternals, the same thing. And I'm just using these as examples. Where they might cross over and even come to a climax in the same movie, they are their own stories as we go forward. The Marvel Universe has trained everybody to believe that it's all movies are leading to the same conclusion. Marvel Universe isn't like that. Yeah, they have their big crossovers in the summertime, but they are their own stories in the meantime. And they need to focus on that. That way people can get it out of their head that they need to watch all 52 hours worth of Marvel content just to understand one movie.
MK is asking which I think was better, No Way Home or Deadpool and Wolverine. I gotta say No Way Home. My main problem with Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is gonna put me in a massive minority here, but I really did not like the Fox X-Men movies. And most of what was good about Deadpool and Wolverine was love letters to those movies. And to me, that would have been equivalent to No Way Home referencing Morbius and Madam Web if it had come out later.
Yeah.
Given how much I dislike the Fox X-Men movies, Deadpool and Wolverine was pretty good, all things considered, but it kept being a love letter to a franchise of movies I don't particularly like all that much. So I say No Way Home, if for no other reason than Doctor Strange did well in it, and I always am here whenever Doctor Strange is Doctor Stranging even remotely correctly. Which the MCU does less than they should, but they're trying, I think, at least.
And I did not like Wolverine and Deadpool because the caterers owe me money. And that being said, have a good day, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. We're going to go, and I will see you in 10 minutes for the cover rankings tonight. So by all means, please join us.
Cheers,
for that.
guys.
Have a good night. Fun times.